In a world built by men, these women ruled through the bedroom. Welcome to Empire of Desires. In history, there are few women who managed to transform a reputation of infamy into eternal glory. The story we are telling today is about a woman who shifted the boundaries of global power, not with armies, but with feminine intellect and the art of active listening. This is the life of Pamela Harriman, a woman whom enemies branded a courtesan and friends hailed as the godmother of the Democratic Party. It all began on March 20, 1920 in England. Pamela Beryl Digby was born into a family where aristocracy flowed through their veins. Her father, the 11th Lord Digby, owned a massive 1,500-acre estate. Pamela grew up among horses, hunting dogs, and the rigid etiquette of the British upper class. But she was different from other lords' daughters. Pamela wasn't beautiful by traditional standards. She had fiery red hair and a somewhat sturdy build. However, she learned early on that true power lies not in beauty, but in attention. During her brief time in Paris at the Sorbonne, she discovered how to make a man feel like the only important person in the room with just one look. She left her formal education behind because she knew her real university would be the ballrooms and political salons of London. In 1939, just as Nazi Germany invaded Poland, 19-year-old Pamela made the biggest gamble of her life. She married Randolph Churchill, the only son of Winston Churchill. Randolph was an insufferable man, an alcoholic, a gambler, and notoriously foul-mouthed. Later, Pamela admitted with brutal honesty that the marriage wasn't for love. She wanted to escape the suffocating walls of her father's manor and move to where the world's biggest decisions were made. By marrying Randolph, she penetrated the beating heart of Britain, 10 Downing Street. When Randolph was deployed to the front lines, Pamela didn't stay lonely. She became the confidant of Winston Churchill himself. During the dark nights of the London Blitz, as radars tracked enemy planes, Pamela sat by Churchill's side and listened. She learned the lessons of war strategy and international politics, not from books, but from the mouth of the man architecting the victory of World War II. Britain was on the verge of collapse, and its only hope was American aid. During this time, London hosted Roosevelt's top envoys. Here, Pamela played a role that historians still debate today. She entered into a very intimate relationship with Averell Harriman, the wealthy American envoy. While her husband, Randolph, fought in the deserts of Africa, Pamela and Averell lived together in London. Interestingly, Winston Churchill was aware of the affair and even encouraged it. Churchill knew Pamela could obtain information or make requests in the bedroom that were impossible through official diplomatic protocols. Simultaneously, she had an affair with Edward R. Murrow, the legendary CBS journalist. She used Murrow to ensure his radio broadcasts were tuned to persuade the American public to support Britain's war effort. In private circles, she became known as a royal courtesan, but the truth was she had become a vital cog in the British war machine. In 1940, amidst the war, Pamela gave birth to her only son, Winston. To her, he was more than just a child. He was her permanent ticket into the Churchill dynasty. However, with the end of the war in 1945 and her divorce from Randolph, Pamela chose a different path. Thirsty for power and wealth, she left her son behind in England with nannies and at boarding schools, while she set off for Paris and America to conquer the halls of power. She sacrificed motherhood for the sake of her own ambition. After the war, Pamela divorced Randolph. She was now a woman with no money but a contact list of the world's most powerful men in her pocket. She moved to Paris and Rome, beginning her era as the ultimate courtesan. She moved on to Gianni Agnelli, the owner of the Fiat Empire. She lived with him for 5 years, during which Agnelli taught her how real wealth is managed. Then came Ali Khan, and after him, Baron E. de Rothschild. Each of these men gave Pamela a piece of the power puzzle. During these years, she learned what powerful men fear and how to use their weaknesses to build an empire. By the 1950s, Pamela realized Europe was too small for her ambitions. She moved to America and married Leland Hayward, a Broadway giant. This marriage took her to the heart of American media and art. But Hayward's death in 1971 left Pamela at a crossroads. She was 51 and her beauty was fading. In a strategic move that would make a chess grandmaster envious, she returned to Avril Harriman. Avril was now 80, widowed and deeply lonely. Pamela applied her art of listening once again. They married, and Pamela became not just his wife, but the manager of his vast estate. When Avril died in 1986, he left her his entire fortune, worth over $1 billion in today's money. Avril's children, who despised Pamela, filed a massive lawsuit against her. They claimed she was a sorceress who manipulated her father in his old age. But Pamela, with aristocratic ruthlessness and an army of expensive lawyers, crushed them in court and became the absolute owner of the Harriman empire. Pamela Harriman was now wealthy, but she sought something beyond money: history. She channeled the Harriman fortune into the Democratic Party. Her home in Washington became the headquarters where presidential candidates received their political baptism. In the late 1980s, she took an energetic but obscure young man from Arkansas under her wing: Bill Clinton. Pamela saw his potential. She funded his campaign, taught him how to behave among Washington's elite, and introduced him to world leaders. Many believe that without Pamela Harriman's lobbying and money, Clinton would never have seen the inside of the White House. After Clinton's victory in 1992, Pamela asked for her ultimate reward. She wanted to return to the place where she was once a mistress, but this time as an ambassador. When Clinton nominated her as the U.S. ambassador to France, Washington exploded. Opponents in the Senate dug up her old relationships. They said it was an insult to the office for a woman with such a past to hold the position. But during her confirmation hearing, Pamela spoke with such mastery, poise, and deep political knowledge that everyone was stunned. She was fluent in French, knew every European leader personally, and knew how to strike a deal. She was confirmed and went to Paris. She became one of the most successful ambassadors in U.S. history, bringing a unique grandeur to the relationship between the two nations. In February 1997, at the age of 76, Pamela suffered a stroke while swimming in the pool of the Ritz Hotel in Paris after a busy workday. She died at the pinnacle of her power. French President Jacques Chirac personally visited her body and pinned the Légion d'honneur, France's highest honor, to her chest. President Bill Clinton sent Air Force One to return her body to Washington with full military honors. Pamela Harriman taught us that the truth of power isn't always found in textbooks. She took a word society used to humiliate her, prostitute, courtesan, and turned it into a stepping stone to reach the title of excellency. She proved that a woman with intellect, will, and a precise understanding of male psychology could change not just her fortune, but the course of a nation's history. Write your thoughts for us. Do you think Pamela was a brilliant hero or a woman only seeking her own interests? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more fascinating stories.